Hey there! How's it going? Today's video is gonna be a little special. Well, actually it's gonna be a lot of special. Because this is my 106 subscribers special. Yay! I figured, to heck with general conventional subscriber milestone videos. I'm gonna make my own with whatever number I please. Oh gosh. First was, what was the first one? It was like 53 or something I chose. I already forgot. But wow, I feel like I've started to gain a lot more subscribers recently, which is kind of, on one hand it's cool, but on the other hand it's like, oh gosh, more people are seeing me. That's terrifying. I guess I should just start by saying thank you guys to the people that have been around since the beginning, and to the people that have maybe only watched maybe one or two of my videos. I really wanted to say thank you guys for having faith in a small channel like myself. And and choosing to do the type of content that I do, which more on that later. So thank you for feeling like I'm someone who's worthy of clicking that subscribe button. I just honestly, when I started this channel, I guess I can segue into that next topic. When I first started this channel, I really didn't have any kind of goals in mind. It was and still is just kind of a little side hobby that I wanted to start doing. Because, I'm sure, there's all kinds of people out there who are like, oh, it'd be kind of fun to start a YouTube channel, and that's kind of the beauty of it. Anybody can hit record, start talking, start doing things, and then upload it to YouTube. And it's up to that individual to sort of mold and shape what they have in mind as to what they want their channel to be. And I think that's really cool, because YouTube, it allows a massive range. It allows people to do no commentary gameplay. It allows people to make random cooking videos. It allows people to do just a podcast talking about current events or talking about cars, or there's types of content out there for literally everyone. And I expected to get, a handful of people, but not over 100. Which is funny, because I've been making videos now for like, what, three months now? Hold on, let me fact check myself. Oh wait, what? Hold on. What did that say? 131 as of me recording this right now. Wow, okay. The number is kind of going up a little. The number's going up pretty quick. Let's see, when was my first video? August 27th, 2023. That is when I originally started. So, August 27th. So I've been doing this for 1, 2, 3, almost 3.5 months. Okay. 500 on my 9? Okay, well, I did post that on Reddit, so I wonder how many of those actually came from Reddit, because as of yesterday, I had like 100 and something. Yeah, people seem to like these trailer videos. I'm definitely gonna do more of those. Jeez. And, yeah. It doesn't seem like there's much interest in wandering. It depends. It seems like it depends on the song. Sometimes I look at the things I write in the description and I just laugh. Because I'm like, who reads descriptions these days? I might read like the first line or two of a description, but that's really it. I didn't really talk about that aspect of why I started the channel. Okay, so I really ultimately started this channel on a whim. Because I'd just been playing games, watching videos, and I stumbled upon a channel who had just recently finished Trails in the Sky, first chapter, and I watched his video. I mainly listened to it, but I was like, I could just tell that the game had just captured his attention fully, and he was so engrossed in the game, and he enjoyed every little aspect, from the story to the characters to the music. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. Thanks, YouTube recommendations. I kind of forgot about it, and then all of a sudden, Trails in the Sky second chapter review popped up, and I was like, oh, cool, it's from that dude. So let's check it out. And he was even more in love with the game, and I was just like, okay, I like this guy's delivery, I like his comedy, I gotta see more of him. I mean, the Kevin Street is the guy's name, by the way. He's a cool guy. Make sure, if you haven't seen his Trails reviews, go check them out. They're fun. They're filled with passion. Some of his more recent videos, his Azure and Cold Steel videos, are really long, so they're perfect to listen to at night when you're trying to relax and fall asleep, or when you're at work and you just need something on, or when you're doing stuff around the house. And so we started talking, and I had just kind of casually mentioned seeing videos like this, and just have it with my own experience. Like, I finally understand, like, the people that make YouTube channels and their passion is just solely on one topic. And I was like, I finally get it, you know? It's like Trails sort of, in a sense, ignited that kind of passion in me, but I didn't really know what to do with it, in a sense, because I have a friend who has played the games. He was actually the one that introduced the games to me, which that'll be for later. But like, we could just kind of have nice little casual conversations about them, but nothing to the extent of like some of the deep dive videos that you see out there from like Kiseki Nut, for instance. Which, oh, fun fact, did you know that Kiseki Nut has actually watched a couple of my videos? He told me so himself, and I was just like, whoa, what? You somehow found some of my videos? That's cool and scary at the same time, because it's like, what videos did you watch of mine? Because there's some videos that I'm like, oh, if it was some of my more recent videos, that'd be really cool. But if it's some of my older videos, it's like, oh no, gosh, those videos they're not, I don't think they're terrible per se, but it just, just compare one of my older videos to one of my newer videos, and it's kind of night and day, just how vastly I've sort of improved, in a sense. And just the thought kind of occurred to me, because I love the music in this series, and I've been trying to sort of get it out there a bit more, as far as recommending it to the VGM reactors that are out there. The main three that I go to are Jesse's Auditorium, MarcoMeatball, and Music Theory for Gamers, or you might know him as Dan. Dan the man. Dan the music man. Those three are my favorites. And Dan recently just did the Trails in the Sky trilogy. MarcoMeatball, I know he's listened to a couple of Falcom tracks. He's heard Blue Destination. He's heard a couple of East tracks. It's kind of hard, because his background is opera. He gets more recommendations. He's kind of drawn in the mobile game crowd. So he has a lot of Genshin and Arknights and Star Rail. Actually, I don't know if he's done Star Rail. I know he's done a lot of Genshin and Arknights, and I know he's done a lot of other mobile games that I don't know the name of. But that's the one thing. I might not care too much for mobile games, but their music is really good. Their music is sometimes bordering on godly. But I know he also really loves Ace Combat 6. He's always shilling that game. He's done Dark Souls and Elden Ring stuff. He's just kind of all over the place, and he tries. He really does try to give a voice to the more underappreciated or the sort of underrated OSTs out there. He's kind of, in a sense, become the voice of VGM as far as on the YouTube side of things, which is awesome. Honestly, he's a super chill dude. I love hanging out in his streams periodically. Oh, and finally, Jesse's Auditorium. Good old Uncle Jesse. I remember finding him way back. I don't remember what my first video of his that I watched was, but I've been watching him for, the date doesn't really matter. It's been a couple years. I've been watching him, He's really cool. He's chill. Seeing him just chilling and rocking out to some awesome tunes with him is fun. And I've gotten a couple of my requests in there. Back when he did birthday requests, those were actually my first Trails OST videos that he did, which were Fighting Right On and Masquerade of Lies, two of my favorite tracks from Sky the Third. And his, I will still always remember, he was listening to Masquerade of Lies, and he turned to the camera and he just silently mouthed, "Damn." Yeah, that track goes crazy. And then during his during the Fighting Right On, because it's a short video, or it's a short track, and so like partway through he expected the song to end, and then it ramped back up again. It did like 3 different change-ups, and he was just like, "Well, they just keep adding more on top of it," and I'm like, "Welcome to Falcom, baby." And I guess you could say they've kind of been inspirations in a sense from the music side of things. But from the creator side of things, I'll just kind of quickly go over a couple of people that are kind of who I not necessarily want to emulate or aspire to be, but kind of, in a sense, look up to, but who I also just, in general, really enjoy the stuff that they've done. Or whenever I tune into them, I typically enjoy what they do. And I guess this first one might shock you guys, because it's not going to be for a reason that I think anyone can really guess. And that first one is Asmongold. And I know you might be looking at me like, huh? What? That gremlin? Sometimes I listen to Asmongold's videos. His videos are perfect for me to listen to while I'm at work. The thing that I like about Asmongold is his ability to communicate. The way that he delivers things, the way that he communicates his thoughts and his opinions so just precisely. It's something that I'm like, wow, I want to get to that point where I can be knowledgeable on all kinds of different things. Because you guys probably don't notice, but when I go to edit these videos, I have to cut out a lot of ums, a lot of uhs. I have to cut out a lot of dead air where I'm trying to think of something to say. It's kind of a nightmare. But I admire his speaking ability. And in a sense, I kind of, partially what I want to accomplish with these videos is the ability to speak more clearly. And to just be able to hold someone's attention with simply the power of my words. How I explain things and how I tell a story, how I describe things of that nature. The next person on the list is somebody that you might know, somebody you might not know. He's been a Let's Player I've been watching for a long time, almost 10 years. Actually, it's probably been 10 years now. But NicoB. Nico Bizzle the Dino Sizzle, oh yeah. Admittedly haven't watched very many of his more recent Let's Plays because they've either been games I haven't finished myself or games that I've been interested in myself, or he did a scary, he Let's Played some kind of spooky game for Halloween that I'm not a big horror person, so I was like, no thank you. I'm sure it's cool, I'm sure you made it super entertaining, but that's just not my thing. I'm not good with scary games. Now, I can play games that have spooky atmospheres, you know, like Fallout or 7 Days to Die or Project Zomboid, but I feel like those are they're different spooky than like a Five Nights at Freddy's or an Outlast. Like visual novels I can kind of stomach to a degree, like Chaos Child, for instance. I will say there were some moments in that made me want to not play the game anymore, just with how descriptive they were with certain scenes. But just his wide array of voices, his humor, his wit, his ability to just ad-lib all these crazy stories and create all these wacky personalities to just super chill characters. Like his Breath of the Wild Let's Play is probably one of my favorite Let's Plays, because he gives the 7 voice to Link, which is, oh gosh, I'll try to do it. which is sort of like this stereotypical like gangster voice. Like, oh hell, man, you just had to go and ruin my day. You know, just sort of that kind of voice. He gave Link that voice, and he made it so that all the four guardians, when you rescue them, they sort of get trapped in his head. he just turns into this crazy schizoid character, which is just hilarious. He did. Even if you don't like Breath of the Wild, I think if you watch that Let's Play, it would make you appreciate the game a lot more, just because of his ability to make it so entertaining. And I guess I'll just do one other YouTuber. It's another Let's Player. His name is JohneAwesome. And his playthroughs of the Danganronpa games are probably my favorite. He's another character that I love his energy. I wish I could have half of his energy, and just how he gets so into things, and I just love it. He makes his videos just so fun. And I did say he was going to be the last one, but I guess as far as like another sort of inspiration, I guess this is sort of why I use Kevin in my videos. The other inspiration for me is another smaller Let's Play channel called One Shot Plays, and I pray for their livers every day. Because what they do faceless Let's Plays, but they're a duo channel, and Joe, he's the guy that he draws all their little figures that they pop up on screen. I always found that super entertaining, and just them together, they have some of those funniest moments. Their Dark Souls Let's Plays, their Danganronpa Let's Plays are hilarious, and they do these sort of challenge. Every Let's Play is sort of like a kind of a challenge video in and of itself, where they set up these rules for themselves, and anytime a character will say a certain word, anytime they die, anytime they guess what a character is going to do, or they guess who's going to die, and they get something wrong, they have to take a sip of their drink, and their drink is, well, whatever alcohol they choose to consume that day. Oh, and then oh gosh, I'm sorry, Ben. The one thing that I always remember is Joe teasing you by putting you in that fursuit, and just that's what I remember the most. I guess you could say those main four, and Kevin to an extent, are sort of my inspirations for wanting to start a channel. Not necessarily what I want to siphon from, in a sense, like, oh, let me take some of that and take some of this. Maybe take some of their ideas and sort of mold them into something that would fit my style. Because yeah, for now I'm using Kevin, but I mean, I wouldn't mind if I don't know how it all works, but maybe one day I could get like a custom made like a VTuber avatar or something. Sort of like Nuxtaku, if you've ever watched any of his stuff. Kind of similar to that. But I don't know, that's definitely a thought to ponder for later. I think that's enough. Oh jeez. This is gonna be, I wanted this video to be like 15 minutes, but I'm just rambling like crazy. And I still have 3 other things to talk about. This is definitely gonna be more of a podcast video, I guess. I'll try to keep this one short. Where I plan to take this channel in the future is exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm just gonna keep doing my music videos. I'm gonna keep doing those trailer reactions until we run out. What I want to do, which I might start in the next couple of weeks, because I have some vacation time that I'm gonna have access to, so I will suddenly find myself with a bit more free time than I have now. But I've been wanting to do Let's Plays. I don't necessarily know how I'm going to structure them. I definitely want to make them so that I cut out as much of the filler as possible, sort of just like, you know, the mindless walking around, or where I'm just sitting in a shop looking at items. Cut out that stuff and just kind of leave the more interesting parts in. That's kind of what I'm thinking of doing. But my first Let's Play is going to be Ys 1, because, as you all know, huge Trails fan, but I've never really dived into Falcom's other games that much. I've played Memories of Celceta a long time ago on the Vita. I do not remember anything from that game, except that I thought the orange-haired chick was cute. That's all I remember. And I played East 8 a few years ago on the Switch, and that game was awesome, by the way. The gameplay was awesome, the music was awesome. Donna is an amazing character. Estelle will always be my favorite female protagonist, but Donna's kind of up there. She's not quite Estelle level, but she's really good for the role that she plays. So hey, yeah, if you haven't played East 8, there's a glowing recommendation from me. But yeah, I've been wanting to play the East games, and I bought them all during the last Steam summer sale this year. So I had every intention of playing them, and I actually was planning on playing them on my own time after I finished my playthrough of Like a Dragon Gaiden. But then I kind of started my channel before I got to Gaiden, so then now I kind of have to think, okay, like what games would be interesting to kind of have on my channel? I figured most people who are here already are here for Trails specific things, and they're not necessarily into the Yakuza games. And if they are into the Yakuza games, they're probably not caught up to Gaiden. So, you know, I figured I'll probably just do like an impressions video or a quick, like sort of spoiler-free video on Gaiden when I finish it, which I haven't even started it yet. I plan on starting it today or tomorrow, which is Sunday. I'm recording this on Saturday. I don't know when this is going to go out, but there you go. There's your little sneak peek into when I'm recording this video. So yeah, Let's Plays are definitely a thing. I have like some other skit ideas that I could do. I have a bunch of other like one-off videos that I have written down. I do have that crazy AU story I wrote that's in my community tab section, by the way, if you wanted to look at that. I could make a little story skit thing on that, sort of like what I did with the Are You Winning Son? Luve and Cassius moment. But that would take a really long time, so maybe I should have that as like a, let's see, what's an obscene amount of subscribers for somebody like me? I mean, I thought 100 was obscene, but I mean, here we are making this video. What about 500? Yeah, 500, that sounds good. That sounds crazy enough, because that video would be crazy to make, so why not make it a crazy number? Yeah, 500 subs, and I will make that crazy AU video. Hey, at least it's all there. I would just have to voice everything and make a bunch of different panels of stuff. I did kind of preemptively gather some backgrounds and stuff I could use. On the off chance I did feel like doing it, so yeah, there we go. Okay, second to last topic. I figured this would be a fun little thing to add, just a small little detail about yours truly. For the people that kind of like to know little personal details about the people they watch, because that's fun sometimes. It depends on how personal it is, which I don't ever plan on getting super personal, but, you know, just kind of superficial things and things that won't, you know, tell too much about me. I would like to keep some semblance of anonymity, but you know how it is. I personally love animals. I love animals of all kinds. Dogs, cats, birds, turtles, penguins, tigers, crows, ravens, all kinds of birds, animals. Yes, I specifically love birds. That's why I use Sieg in every one of my edits. Oh, scree. I do love Sieg though, but it's just, that's why I love the animal characters in the Trails games, or just any video game in general that has like an animal sort of companion, like Tales of Vesperia, for instance. But I've actually owned quite a lot of animals, either owned or interacted with, that someone else in my family has directly owned. But I guess I will just go over the animals that I've personally owned. Including the puppy that I have now, I've owned 4 dogs in my life. I've had one golden lab, 1 German shepherd, 1 shih tzu, and right now I have a, what is he? He's a mix of all kinds of things. He's like a Chihuahua mixed with a Dachshund, and he is cute as a button. And he's like the most well-behaved dog, like 90% of the time. But then 10% of the time he would just kind of go crazy. Oh, but he's great. He's been great. We had a little bit of a health scare with him earlier, but we took him to the vet and he was fine. And he's been doing a lot better, so that's really good. But the lab, she's definitely the craziest dog we had. growing up. Oh man, she she would chew everything that wasn't nailed to the floor, and she would sometimes even chew the nails out of the floor to lift the stuff up, to rip the stuff up. Oh my gosh. She would chew holes in the drywall. She ripped up a couple couches. There was one time where we left to go do something, and we came back home, and there was just dry dog food all over the house. At the time, my dad had kept the dog food in this like big container on the floor. It had wheels on it, and it had like you had to like flip up a little latch to open it, and she somehow opened it, and she ate like 75% of the tub, and the tub wasn't small. It was a pretty sizable tub. It could fit it could fit an entire big bag of dog food, like 20-30 pounds, and there was just kibble everywhere, and there's just barf all on the floor. And this was before we had torn the carpet up in the kitchen, so the kitchen still had carpet. Oh my gosh, she was crazy. But she was the dog. I grew up with her. We got her when I was 7 or 8. I was super young, so I grew up with her. She lived with me until I was around maybe my mid-20s. And then the German Shepherd was her brother, because we had adopted him. I think it was unintentionally, because I remember we were originally looking after him while they were still finding a place to hold him at a local shelter. And the story with him is actually really sad. I don't want to really go into too many details, but he was essentially abused pretty badly by his previous owners. And so he did not like being pet, he did not like being touched, he did not like, he would always get scared when people walked in. Any little tiny noise would just make him jump. And I don't understand why people have to be so abusive to animals. They don't deserve that kind of treatment. But yeah, we were just watching over him, and I came home from school one day, and he was still there. And I was like, well, what happened? I thought, we were just watching him for a certain amount of time, and my dad and my stepmother were like, oh, well, we decided to adopt him. And it was like, oh, cool. And so over the years, he eventually sort of got used to us and opened up to us and warmed up to us. There would still be moments where, if you went to pet him and he didn't see you, he would turn and see your hand coming for him, and it would kind of spook him a bit. So he never really got over his fear, but we gave him a really good life. But he had all kinds of like other problems. He had hip problems. We had to get him multiple hip replacement surgeries. He had arthritis. We never really knew his age, but we kind of guessed that he was about the same age as our golden lab. But we had to unfortunately put him down a couple years before the lab, just because of all of his complications and stuff to old age. He could barely get up. He could barely eat. It was just like, it was one of those instances where, do we just want to keep hanging on to him until he eventually, passes, or do we want to put him down now? And in a sense, we at least gave him a really good life, and just sort of end things a little early so that he doesn't have to, suffer anymore. And I wasn't there when they put him down, but I definitely made sure to be there when they put down my Labrador, and that was an emotional day. That was an emotional day. I was sitting with her in the back seat of the car. She had her head in my lap. She, despite being this massive Labrador, she always thought she was a lap dog. I miss both of them. And then the Shih Tzu was another dog that I had also grown up with. We got him. I got on my mother's side. We got him when he was a puppy. And the first thing he did, we had to go to the store right after we adopted him. We had him wrapped up in this little towel. And the security was like, yeah, you can take him in. He's just a puppy. You don't want to leave him in the car. And the first thing he did was pee all over me. I'm sitting in there, and I'm like, why is the towel all wet? Oh no. Oh my gosh. He lived to be 15, 16, 16 or 17. He lived to be old for a Shih Tzu, and he had a really good life too. What happened with him was he ended up getting some kind of like cancerous growth in his mouth to the point where he could barely even eat anymore. He was also almost fully blind. He was just he would hardly really get up. He would just kind of sleep all day. And so the vet was like, yeah, you might want to consider, you know. So me and my mother, we talked about it, and we just figured we didn't want to. You know, you never do. But it's just one of those things where you just have to make the decision. And you don't really want them to suffer anymore. And you don't want their suffering to get worse. You know, that growth could have gotten bigger, and it could have just made things even worse. And it was like, well, might as well just say goodbye, you know. And we waited about a year or so. We were firmly like, yeah, we don't want another animal, because you get so attached to them, and saying goodbye is the worst. It is the worst feeling. We were kind of shopping around a little bit, looking at different shelters and being like, sort of, okay, what kind of animal could we even accommodate in our little house? And so we just randomly went to a pet store that did adoptions. And they had a couple of little dogs in a cage, and they also had a couple cats, and you know, of course, they have the fish tanks all over the place. But we were just kind of sitting there looking at them, and we were like, "Oh, could we hold one of them?" And they were like, "Yeah, sure." And so they took one out, and they handed it to my mother, and he crawled up, put his hands over her, put his paws over her shoulder, and just like tucked his head into the crook of her neck, and it was just like, oh, that's it. Yep, he's the one. And they were like, yeah, they're already potty trained, which, yeah, I guess. He had a couple accidents, but other than that, yeah, he's been a great little dog. His birthday's in January, so he's about to turn 3. And I think this video's gone on long enough. I was going to talk about, I had one other topic written down, but I think I will still talk about it, but I'll split it up and I'll have it be its own separate video. Because as of me recording this, it's been almost an hour of me just rambling. And because of how I already know how I'm going to do this video, I'm just going to have the ambient background footage that I've sort of collected. It's going to be more of just a podcast style, sort of just, you know, video you have on in the background. And I know that those type of videos don't really go over very well in terms of longevity and viewer retention and whatnot, but it's fine. I don't really mind either way. Thank you again for just all the recent support. It's been kind of crazy looking at some of these numbers. Been like, wow, I did not expect any of this, honestly. So just thank you guys again, and I hope to keep improving. I hope to keep getting better. I bought a music theory book for beginners, so hopefully, you know, I can start applying some of that knowledge into my future music videos. I don't plan on becoming the most adept at music theory and all that stuff, but just so that I have a lot of the basic understanding and the fundamentals and whatnot. I think that would definitely help me out. I want to get better at editing. I want to get better at incorporating edits into the videos. I kind of aim for each new video I make, I kind of either try to aim and do one picturesque type of edit, you know, like these ones, or one sort of visual gag or a visual skit. And hopefully as I get better, I can just keep adding more and more. But again, I don't want to start adding so much that I end up, you know, sort of burning myself out as far as like creativity goes and whatnot. So we'll see what happens. I'm definitely gonna keep things, you know, keep it low and slow. They say as far as like cooking terms go, cook it low and slow. That's kind of the sort of style that I'm gonna go for as far as my channel. Just, you know, keep it more relaxed, keep it more real, just keep it genuine. I don't want to be one of those people where you just do super crazy over the top reactions and you're just screaming at everything, and you know, you got 3 million sound effects a second going off in your ear. And I know that'll probably hurt my growth. Again, I'm not really into this for the growth, really. I'm just into it to just have fun, to just share things with other people, to just kind of talk with other people, just, you know, just relax and have a good time. That's ultimately that's the bottom line of this channel. Just relax and have a good time. And well, thank you guys for hanging out with me. I hope this video was somewhat entertaining with me just rambling. I'm gonna head out and start recording that the last section that was supposed to be in this video, but this video is already too long as it is. I even added 5 extra minutes of rambling. Jeez. That's also one thing I want to get better at, is just being more concise in my thoughts and sort of only talking about things that really matter. But I don't know, maybe that's kind of my charm. Who knows, right? So yeah, thank you guys for being here. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't and you're still here on this video of me celebrating 106, I'm at 130 now, jeez, subscribers, so yeah. Take care of yourselves, guys. Have a good one. Peace out.
Alright, what's next?